At this point, I would like to introduce the boss. Sergey Belousov is a Singaporean national, self-made entrepreneur and business executive with an outstanding 24-year track record of building, growing, and leading high-performing multinational tech companies in North America, Europe, and Asia. Recognized as an innovator and thought leader in the fields of virtualization, data center automation, and cloud computing, he's a frequent speaker at industry events around the world, like this one. On top of filing over 200 patents, Sergey holds a Doctor of Science and PhD degrees in computer science, an honors Master of Science in Physics and Electrical Engineering, and an honors Bachelor of Science in Physics, all from the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology. He's the founder and CEO of Acronis, the global leader in cyber protection, and somehow finds the time to continue in leadership and investment roles in tech venture funds Runa Capital, Q-Wave Capital, which is focused on quantum technology research, and Almaz Capital, tech vendors Parallels and Acumatica, and Swiss research institution, the Schaffhausen Institute of Technology. What I would do just for his time management skills. Today, he will talk about how he has led Acronis's business transformation in response to the pandemic. Over to you, Sergey.
Okay. Thank you very much. One thing which is great about track record is that you don't need to do anything for the track record to actually add on. It is actually not 24 years, but 28. And if you wait 1 year, it will be 29, unless I die. And then it will be 30, and then 31, and 32, and 33. So I'm not so sure it's a good thing to have too long of a track record. In any case, talking about Acronis, Acronis is a company which is a leader in cyber protection, AI-powered cyber protection, cyber cloud, and cyber platform. That's the shortest way describing what we do. We're Swiss Singaporean. We are growing rapidly and accelerating this year. Our plan is to grow over 50%, and we're not changing targets yet. And the fastest part of our business is a new business model focused on service providers, which we call cloud business model. We are very, very global. We are in many, many businesses, in almost all Fortune 1000 businesses, and we do business entirely through partners. And our global presence with 1,500 employees make us really feel the pain of this current pandemic. And just to show how this looks, oops, sorry. This is how the situation looks in our two headquarters. The two countries, which are generally very similar in the way how they act about the business. Both countries are about technology, about education, about being open, but very different number of cases, very different percentage of the population actually tested positive, very different percentage of those who tested positive ended up dying in Switzerland and Singapore. I'm talking to you from Singapore. Nevertheless, Singapore has such a small number of cases relative to other places. I'm still in my apartment, lockdown. So we, as Acronis, we protect the digital world, and digital world needs protection because the digital workloads are very, very fragile. And there are these 5 challenges to protect it. One of the challenges is complexity. There are over 50 billion devices to protect today, 500 billion by 2030s. One challenge is cost. There is a lot of data and a lot of devices, and so the cost per device for protection and cost per gigabyte for protection has to be low. Security, definitely a major problem. Everything is being attacked. Cybercrime is industrialized. Privacy, something which is very, very dear to us, and it's very, very clear to the world since about 3 years that it's a major problem, especially clear today. A lot of the issues which happen with number of remote workplace applications today are not really related to security, but related to privacy. And another very subtle issue, which was happening to IT over the past maybe 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, everything which been talked about by IT leaders, but IT is really becoming something which we cannot live without. And so protecting IT is a fifth basic need. You need water, you need air, you need food to survive. You actually need shelter. There is no way to survive long-term without shelter. Try to go to places which are extreme, either extremely hot or extremely cold. And now you also need protection. It's especially clear today. All of a sudden, IT people are under a lot of stress because of this major challenge that IT must operate. If in the past, if IT was down, we would be less productive for a while. Today, people are confined to their homes. And if IT is down, it is not clear what happens next. Without IT, we cannot have any conferences. We cannot call each other. We cannot communicate. We cannot order food. We do not know what's happening. It is really mission critical. And this is a completely different challenge for IT professionals. And in Acronis, since about 5 years, we are pushing this concept, Acronis Cyber Protection, which is an integrated way to protect all data applications and systems in such way that there is a reliable copy for every piece of data, so nothing gets lost. Everything's accessible at all time. All of the access is controlled, and you know who access what. You can take back and give the control rights. It's authentic, so you can be sure that the data and application and system is original and it's secure. And all of it is offered as a single application, single user interface, single policy, single technology, and single business package in such ways that it's very easy to use, very low cost, very secure. You keep the full control and it works at all times. Which is especially important for today's world of remote workloads. Remote workloads are mission critical for global economy. We all hope that global economy will open in the next 2 weeks, 2 months, but there is a possibility it will take longer, and there is a possibility it will repeat again, and there is a possibility that when even it opens, remote workloads will continue to be very important. And with remote workload, if something is lost, you cannot work. If you cannot access your data application or system, you cannot work. If you are at home, nobody knows who has access to which data, to which application, which system. You make all decisions based on digital data, on digital voice, digital video, digital document, and there is no perimeter of protection at your home. Most of the time, home was outside of the focus of corporate IT, and even when the executives connected, they were not protected. And I think it's, and especially now for most of people connected to this call, which I believe is our partners, it is clear that there is a very much an analog between biohazards and digital hazards. And in both cases, you need to do prevention. Prevention is most important. The reason why we have so many people testing positive and sick with coronavirus is because we did not do prevention. We did not have the measures for hygiene. We did not do vaccination against this virus. We didn't know it's going to happen. We did not measure and catch people who were actually sick. The same thing happens with cyber hazards. You need to do detection. Again, another thing which became entirely clear with this biohazard of coronavirus is that the countries which are able to do detection very quickly can react very quickly, can isolate the people who are testing positive, can find all of the people who are testing positive around them and prevent the spread of the virus. You need to respond very quickly. If you can respond very quickly, many less people will suffer, many less hours will be spent in the hospital, many less people will actually get into intensive care, many less people will die. And again, that's very similar with the cyber threats. You need to do recovery. Recovery is a major issue. It takes time to recover from coronavirus. One of the dangers of coronavirus, and unlike in the cyber world, there is no magic button which you can press and immediately recover. It takes weeks to recover. Some people are sick with coronavirus for, say, 4 weeks or 5 weeks, which is, again, another thing which is very different between this virus and conventional flu. And another thing which is also very clear is you need to do forensic, because the only way to stop the subsequent waves or to stop the spread is to be very clear where people are getting infected. And that is what we are making possible with cyber threats. And that is something which should be very clear to everyone now that it's important. So just to give you an example of what is cyber protection for remote workplace and why it's so important for service providers. First of all, remote environment is typically home environment. It's unsecure. There is unsecure, relatively basic device. There is many devices on the network, even in case the work computer is relatively well configured. There is many devices which are managed by somebody. There is many household members who don't have security skills, who don't have IT people taking care of them, especially children. There is many devices which can actually come from corporate networks and compromise the networks of home networks and compromise the corporate networks. Now, remote applications are not designed to actually work on unprotected environments. They are applications that run on the application level. They do not expect that they run in the environment which is full of threats. There is many home environments are connected to a single session. I can see that this session at the moment has 837 participants. The maximum number of participants we had recently on one of our internal town halls was over 1,000. And so some of those networks could be unsecure, and there is multiple unsecure networks at the same time. There is no security training for people in such environment. People are typically do not expect that they need to secure themselves. And there is no corporate IT at home enforcing it. And this is just example what can happen with a typical productivity application like Zoom. You can inject messages into Zoom. You can insert code into Zoom. If you hack into PC, you can hijack the remote control. You can manage the session, and you can do many, many other things. The good thing is for our partners, which again, I believe majority of people who connected to this call, we provide an integrated, complete protection for this remote workload from the standpoint of safety, accessibility, privacy, authenticity, and security, so you can make sure that it works. It protects the workload. We also are now actively working with providers of collaboration applications to protect specifically the applications and to be application aware in this protection with many companies like Zoom, like Microsoft, like Cisco WebEx, like Citrix, LogMeIn, like some collaboration tools like Slack, and this is upcoming in many of our products, and protect remote sessions. And it's very important that this is a solution which allows large number of workloads to be supported by a single technician. Because it's a single solution, it's real easy to protect many networks. Think about how the situation changed. In the past, you have a service provider supporting a small business with 100 employees that would maybe 3 networks in 3 offices. Most of the time, it will be 1 or 2 offices. Now, suddenly this 100 employees convert into 3 plus 100 networks, 103 networks, which is much harder to control. Your personnel must be overloaded with requests, and exactly the product like CyberProtect helps it. So again, what CyberProtect does is proactive protection, active protection, and reactive protection. So both vulnerability assessment, patch management, and configuration management, memory, malware prevention with variety of different tools, and reactive protection. When something actually happened and we were not able to help immediately, you can recover and you can understand what happened. It has these 2 unique features which you don't have in any other product beside the integration between our products in protection. Cyber Notary, which allows you to sign digital documents and sign the data to make sure that these documents are not compromised, and you make a decision based on the correct document, and you can check it at any time. And we also provide a very strong control over privacy. We protect your environment, we protect your IT, we protect your business, but you can always understand who has access to your data, which is, again, sounds subtle, but which is very, very much unique feature. Even with the recent challenges in the protection of some of the remote applications, you must have noticed that privacy is a main problem. All of this we put into the package, which is serviceable immediately by service providers, which we call Acronis Cyber Cloud, which allows service providers to very effectively launch protection services, a range of protection services. The most complete is Acronis Cyber Protect, but there is less so cyber backup, cyber files, and components of Cyber Protect for your customers. And it includes all of these components, which allows you to run profitable and growing business, well integrated with the rest of your business. So real easy, real profitable, and a real good service for your customers. That all of this is based on Acronis Cyber Platform, which is another unique part of our offering, which allows you to extend our cyber protection and our cyber cloud to fit precisely the needs of your business as a service provider, or to fit precisely the needs of your customer. Whenever there is a feature missing in our cyber cloud, which may be useful for you to automate better, or in a Cyber Protect, which may be useful for you to protect your customer better, you can add it. There is a number of third parties on Cyber Platform, and you can also go through Acronis Cyber training and get your developers to build the required functionality, whether it's a basic script or more. That we also couple with Acronis Cyber Services and Cyber Academy, which actually is designed to make Acronis products and services much broader for you. You can train and certify your staff. It's all online, and it's all possible immediately right now. In fact, we increased our investment in Cyber Academy by the factor of 5 right now. So we have 5 times more people, and we intend to build several times better and several times more courses on cyber protection and on running cyber cloud and doing service provider business, and on also building services on top of Acronis Cyber Platform. So this is what Acronis is. I mean, the way we look at the current world is every challenge is an opportunity. That is perhaps one thing which is only result from my 28 years track record, is that every challenge must be an opportunity. There is no other way to look at the challenges. And the good thing about Acronis, we believe we're built for remote work from the beginning. Even before this crisis, we were on 33 locations. Many of our employees work remote. More than 90% of our employees had remote team members in their teams. We also work with service providers, and service providers, most of the service providers have remote employees. Some of them never had offices. Many of them, and most of them, never met their customers in person. They talk to customers and deal with customers and manage them remotely. We also believe opportunity is growing. There is more workloads right now because there is many more remote workloads, which are doubling the workloads in the office. There is more new SMBs because many of the people who are unfortunately losing jobs right now are actually founding new companies, and they need IT. Without IT, they cannot go forward. There is many service providers, and we believe we can get higher market share for service providers because exactly service providers are the ones who can manage such a complicated and such a cost-sensitive and such a service-sensitive environment, like environment of very distributed and remote workloads. And we also believe that cyber protection should have much higher touch rate. So the opportunity is growing. Our products are very easy and high margin for service providers, very, very efficient and very secure, which is exactly what is needed today. Service providers and customers need to focus on their core business. They don't have time to deal with anything which works less. And that is evident by our strong results. The first quarter, we are 100% and actually above the target for our cloud business. The cloud business grew 88%. So if you think about slowdown in economy when you're growing 88%, that is doesn't really matter if you grow 83% or 91%. So economy may be slower, but there is a huge opportunity for you. And so we think there is exciting future coming. In the next months, we are releasing Acronis Cyber Protect. We are releasing Acronis Cyber Platform. And when putting more effort in it, we are putting much more effort into remote workloads, into integration with applications, into partnership with vendors like Microsoft, like Zoom, like Cisco WebEx, like Citrix, supporting VDI, supporting collaboration applications, supporting the home networks, and so on and so forth. And so more announcements are coming. We are definitely extremely open to the feedback, and much more in Acronis Cyber Academy. With that, this is what we say to our employees, and this is the same what we want to say to our partners. So what can you do now? Well, really, there's 3 things. So there's 5 things. So first, stay healthy and stay alert, maintain healthy habits. Do not panic. And the second thing, pay attention to Acronis Cyber Protect, which is now available, and Candide will talk a little bit more about it. The third, pay attention to Acronis Cyber Academy and go through trainings and certifications. It's a good time now. It's a good time for you. It's a good time for your employees if you are a proprietor of the business. Prepare and continue to improve your remote workplace. I'm constantly improving mine. It seems that the world is now going to be remote, and there will be many more people working remote. Perhaps right now, number of remote workloads went up by 100 times, but I think even after the crisis will go back, you will still have 10 times more remote workloads than before, and a lot of us will do a lot of things remote. And the last thing, which is extremely important, which is what we tell to our salespeople, to our marketing people, to our partners, to our distributors, is this is really primarily a crisis of economy. It is a crisis in terms of biohazard. Some people will be sick and feel very, very bad. It's not a pleasant sickness at any age. Some people will die, but much higher challenge it is for economy. And so the best thing you can do for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for people around you, for your partners, for your customers, is to continue to be focused on your business, continue to be making money, continue to try to focus on industries and on regions where everything is working. With that, I wanted to remind you about some things which Acronis does beyond normal business, which is Acronis Cyber Fit initiative, Acronis Cyber Foundation, specifically building schools, and we are actually adding bio and cyber hygiene for the schools we built. So far, we built 8 schools. We intend to continue building schools this year, especially in the time of crisis like this. Without education and knowledge, we cannot sustain the crisis. Dr. Reno has mentioned that the main hope for this is having vaccine, because actually going through herd immunity otherwise is very dangerous. There are 8 billion people in the world. If 6 billion of them will have to get sick and get an immunity, we're talking about not millions, but tens of millions of people dying. And that is too much of a cost in a variety of ways for the humanity to afford. And so you get to solve it through science and knowledge. We have other foundation activities. We're going to continue to support CyberFit Sports, and at this point, what we're trying to help sports with and other suffering industry is to help them with virtual events. You will see more virtual sport events, including virtual events in such conventional sports like soccer. And we will continue to make all of our products CyberFit, all of our customers CyberFit, our partners CyberFit, and we are fanatical about CyberFit. And with that, we also will continue to push forward our Acronis CyberFit Dragon with 5 heads, which represent our commitment to our Singapore headquarters, which is probably one of the best managed places in terms of the crisis, where the real crisis is, and our commitment to Acronis SAPA, safety, accessibility, privacy, authenticity, and security integrated in a single species, Acronis Cyber Protect. And on that point, I wanted to talk about something which we also do as a part of Acronis Cyber Foundation. This is 2 gentlemen, which are friends of mine. They are alumni from the same university as me. Both of them are Nobel Prize winners in physics. One of them is actually in Singapore, and he got the Nobel Prize together with a gentleman on the right in 2010. He was one of the youngest Nobel Prize winners in the history. He's a professor here in Singapore. Another one is Sir Andre Geim. He's actually a Nobel Prize winner also in physics. And besides that, he's Ig Nobel Prize winner, which is a very special prize, which is given for the sort of most funny invention. So last time his invention was actually levitating a frog using intrinsic frog magnetism. It's not particularly useful to levitate a frog. Nevertheless, he's the only person who received both Nobel Prize and Ig Nobel Prize. So both the fun prize and not fun prize. And at the moment, Andre and Kostya are pushing this interesting method to fight the coronavirus, which I want to promote to everybody on this call. And this method is a hypothesis that many viruses can be killed by amphiphilic molecules, effectively molecules which are similar to soap. And so they actually destroy the membrane of the virus. So that's why when you wash your hands for a long enough time, you destroy the virus. In the country where I was born, in Soviet Union, they also recommended to wash your nose and to wash inserts of your nose with a soap a little bit to destroy your virus. Now, they propose to inhale the soap molecules. Well, now if you start inhaling soap, it might be a bit too stressful for your lungs. And, you know, who knows, people might start eating soap, but there are some better methods. And one of the methods is to basically inhale, do inhalation of things like green tea. Green tea has a lot of saponins molecule. I've actually bought an inhaler myself today, and well, actually yesterday, and I tried inhaling green tea. If you make a very strong green tea and you go through inhaler, it indeed has a lot of soap in it. It's a very soapy inside the inhaler. The idea is that this method destroys the molecules which just got into your mouth and into your higher respiratory act, kills those virus molecules, decreases the concentration, and perhaps kills all the molecules which can get into your body, and in such way prevents the infection, or at least it prevents the infection from becoming more widespread. And so what my friends, there's 2 Nobel Prize winners, one of them is was levitating a frog, which I think is very important in the content of this conversation, was suggesting that they want to recruit volunteers who will do this green tea inhalations every time they come from the outside. We intend to help them to release a mobile application to report health condition, and they want to compare the results of those who actually did green tea inhalation and those who didn't, to figure out if it actually helps to decrease the infection rate, especially in the places like Italy, where the first wave is mostly over, and also in the places like New York, where the first wave is also getting over. It's important not to get into second wave. A number of infected people outside will still be very high. And so the second wave can start anytime. If you remember, 2 months ago, there was very few people sick. Well, let's say we get over the second wave. It doesn't mean that number of infected people goes down to 0. So perhaps if you inhale green tea, it's not bad for your health. It will help you to not get sick. And so we will try to announce more about it. It's a serious call. It's a serious call by 2 people. You know, instead of being levitated like a frog, you might inhale green tea and never get sick. Thank you.